What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rick Kamla. We are back with the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Oh man, the finals are here. They start on June 5th. Coming up on, let's see, that's Thursday, I believe. Haven't done the math on that, but super psyched about the finals. It is OKC. It is Indiana. We're going to talk a lot about this. We got my boy Mitch Lawrence joining us in about 20 minutes. From around Dallas, and I want to ask him about the Mavs as well, and getting Cooper Flag and what the pulsation is of that fan base right now. How saved are they? So we'll have Mitch on, and we'll go around the NBA as we always do with him. I'll get to my core four here in just a second, but I want to bring in our terrific sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season's in full swing. WNBA is cooking. We're into the NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds in everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and a live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. So we start with the core four. And number one is OKC against Indiana in the finals. Like, wow. We all saw Oklahoma City being here. No surprise there. Very chalky, very anticipated and expected. Indiana, not so much. They have snuck up on us for the second year in a row. I did have a decent opinion on them coming into the year. I did. Was I anywhere close to predicting that Indiana would be in the NBA Finals? Absolutely not. They looked like a second round team to me, and they did not look like a conference finalist. Of course, you had Cleveland doing their thing, and I believed in that, and I bought into that. That won't happen again. And, Indiana beat them. Indiana beat New York 2 years in a row. It kind of makes you think, like, what if Haliburton is healthy last year in the East Finals against Boston? Like, how does that look? I remember game one of that series was a very competitive basketball game. And then it got away, with Haliburton being hurt and all that kind of stuff. So here they are. They're back. They continue to make these steps up the ladder, and now Indiana is in the NBA Finals. It's crazy, but it's a totally cool story. I actually really love this Finals. For the small market aspect, I like it. I'm a Minnesota guy, and I kind of like to root for the underdog and stuff like that. So I like that it's a couple of small market teams. Good for them. OKC hasn't been in the Finals in quite a while. Indiana has been in the finals since 2000 when they played the LA Lakers back in the day with Austin Crozier and all those guys, and obviously the great Reggie Miller. I'm going to ask Mitch Lawrence about this because I'm curious about ratings. I don't do a lot of like research and analysis on it, but it is a narrative about the NBA, and it is interesting to me. So I'm curious how the ratings go in this series. Is it going to be a poorly rated series? I remember when Detroit played San Antonio back in 2005 and the narrative around that. And this is with NBA people, right? They're like, oh, this series is going to be so boring, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to watch on TV because it's San Antonio and Detroit. Maybe Andre can look it up. I don't know what the ratings were on the 2005 NBA Finals, but what I know is this. It was a bloodbath. It went 7 games. It was tremendous basketball. You had, the Pistons were looking for their second in a row, and you had San Antonio in the midst of kind of, winning every other year, and they won 5 over 15 years, right? So you had just two awesome programs colliding, and I thought it was great basketball theater. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing. I would say that it was a fight is what it was, but it went 7 games, and I liked it. So I think this one is going to be aesthetically pleasing, cosmetically appealing. It is going to be fun to watch because of the players. We love Hallie, we love SGA, but also the pace that Indiana plays. All of their terrific role players. All of OKC's terrific role players. I mean, game on. I can't wait, baby. Pace, you would think that pace would be crucial in this matchup, right? Pace is such a big thing with Indiana. And when they, think about game 4 against New York with the pace, when game 5 goes back to New York clobbers Indiana. Indiana didn't play with pace that game. They just I thought they just kind of punted that game overall. Game 6, you come back, you get back to your pace. Pace is extremely important to the Indiana Pacers. But the Thunder played very, very well against high-paced teams this season, okay? They swept their 2-game regular season series against Indiana. And the Thunder also had a strong record against other high-paced teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves. So OKC's like, oh, yeah, you played a great pace. You get up and down, you run, and they're like, so do we. We like that. By the way, OKC is absolutely phenomenal at, the steal, turnover, and run out. I mean, boom. As soon as you turn it over, points are going up on the board, man. So Indiana's got to be very careful with the basketball. We have 2 of the 3 deepest teams in the league. I think Cleveland is in that conversation with these 2 teams. The X factor to me in this series, and I'm not going to go with a dude or a coach. To me, it's Oklahoma City's defense. I believe it's the X factor here because Indiana's terrific. They're championship worthy. Their offense is absolutely fantastic. But OKC's defense grinds you to a halt. They take you out of what you want to do. And they make it very hard to be consistent and to be normal and just show up and do your thing because they have so many harassers. Like Haliburton is going to be in it. I cannot wait to see who guards Haliburton, how long, how many bodies they throw at him. Do they man and a half him? Do they trap him? All of that stuff. Because, Lou Dort is, does he have the foot speed for Hallie? Does he have the nimbleness for Hallie? Or do you can't put J-Dub on him. I mean, you got to start with Dort. You're going to see a lot of Caruso on him. SGA may take a turn a time or two. But watching how OKC defends Haliburton and defends the 1-5 pick and roll for Indiana, that's the Haliburton and Turner pick and roll. I just can't wait to see how that all looks. We have a clash of 2 mega guards here, SGA and Haliburton, man. And like Ant-Man, like we talked about in that series, Ant-Man is almost there. To me, Haliburton is almost there. He's more there than Ant-Man. Okay, he's in the finals and Ant-Man's home right now. But SGA is there, polished, seasoned, conditioned, ready. And so I think that's a big deal here. Again, we talked in the previous series, whose time is it? Okay, and a lot of people think it's my boy Steve Alexander. He thinks it's Indiana's time. I don't. I think it's OKC's time. I think it's SGA's time. And you will see Nesmith on SGA. You will see a lot of Nesmith on SGA. And I love Nesmith, but this is SGA. The guy's unstoppable. You saw what Brunson did to Nesmith. I mean, he was over 30 a game. Okay, so Shea is going to be getting his numbers here. This is the first time since 2007 that the NBA Finals will feature 2 teams who did not play on Christmas Day. Tom Haberstroh put that stat out. I just find that really interesting, man. I was still on NBA radio when the schedule came out, and when OKC was not on the Christmas Day schedule, I was like, what? Like, what? Are you serious right now? So they weren't. And now look at them. And now, going back to the ratings thing, now they're both going to be playing here in the finals. So then in terms of how the Pacers got Haliburton and Siakam, I saw Evan Sidery of Forbes put this out. It's Sabonis, Bruce Brown, and 3 firsts for Haliburton and Siakam. Kevin Pritchard and Mr. Buchanan, they have done an absolutely phenomenal job. And my prediction here, guys, is Oklahoma City in 6. OKC in 6. I lean towards 5. I don't lean towards 7. Right? I'm like kind of like OKC in 5.5 or whatever. I'll go 6. I'll give Indiana 2 games, but that's what I got. OKC in 6. It is the Core 4 with your boy Kam here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Number 2 is Indiana beating New York in Game 6, and we saw this on Saturday night. Sorry, no Game 7, folks. That game would be tonight if it were going down. But it's not. Haliburton played the championship card back in April, and here he is on the biggest stage. Well done by him. First time in 25 years, the Pacers are heading to the NBA Finals, and right now, Indiana owns the East. It is their conference. Think about this. They beat Cleveland. They just have more. They have more balls. They have more moxie than Cleveland. Cleveland is like really talented and really good and really deep and all that kind of stuff. They need more dog. Indiana's got a lot of dog to them, man, and I like that. But this is their conference right now. Boston's in it. They're talking about making trades. Tatum is going to probably miss the entire next season. It's not Boston's conference anymore. It was for a hot minute. It's not New York's conference. They've lost to Indiana twice in a row now in the playoffs. It's not Cleveland's conference. They can't get by Indiana. It's not Milwaukee's conference. They're about to go boo without Giannis after he's traded, and they can't beat Indiana anyway. All right, it's their conference. Okay, you can go to teams like Orlando and stuff like that. They're not better than Indiana. Indiana owns the East right now. And guys, here's another stat on Indiana. They have not lost back-to-back games since March 10th. The Pacers have not lost back-to-back games since March 10th. It is June 2, okay? That's an insane statistic to me. And I'll talk about Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I disagree with the handling of this. Siakam was at 25 a game. Hallie was at 21 points per game. They were the only Pacers who played really well in this series. Turner averaged 13. Nesmith averaged 13. Everybody else was not in double figures. And I'll have more on the Haliburton Siakam thing in a minute. The Pacers own the Knicks, guys. They have played in the playoffs since 2004 times. Pacers have beaten them all 4 times. Shout out to Obi Toppin because he gets his payback on the New York Knicks. He was traded, as you recall, from New York to Indiana. He just got paid last offseason by Indiana. And he could never get over Julius Randle, obviously. Andre's telling me 12.5 million viewers average for the 2005 NBA Finals. I'm not sure, again, like the ratings thing, like I'm not sure, are those good numbers or bad numbers? Sorry, Andre, but I don't know if 12.5 million is just a vague number for me without that piece of context. But Andre, you rock. Thank you, man. All right, so we are here on Jarris Walker. He's going to miss at least a couple of games here, according to Rick Carlisle. The first 2 games due to a right ankle injury suffered in the victory over the New York Knicks in Game 6. Not a big deal. Just wanted to put that out there. He kind of got into the rotation a little bit, but he's largely been a non-rotation guy. And on the Knicks side, Jalen Brunson averages 31 and 6 in this series. This guy's such a stud. Cat, well done, bro. Well done. Well done. Take a bow. Even in a loss. 25 and 12 for this series. Dragging the knee around. Like, yes, I liked it. Okay. He did not fade. He did not fold. He did not harden up on us. Okay. Like isn't James Harden choking, right? No, he was absolutely fantastic. Had the series that I said he had to have for them to have a chance. And good for you, Kat. OG Anunoby, 17 and a half points. Bridges was at 15.8. The problem was Josh Hart. And probably because he was brought off the bench, but he only averaged 8.3 points. And obviously that's not going to get it done. And then below that, it was just the low-dough, Nick bench stuff that we've come to know and loathe, to be completely honest with you. So Andres helped me out here. He said Bucks and Suns was at 9.9 million viewers. Warriors Celtics was at 12.4 million viewers. So Pistons and Spurs in 2005 held up well. Warriors Cavs in 2018, 17.5 million viewers. So that's pretty good. It's actually pretty good ratings. So on that note, let's bring in my boy Mitch Lawrence because I did want to talk with him about ratings. So let's bring him in on this note right now. The great Mitch Lawrence, the legend, is back. Mitch, you're looking good, bro. Let's start, dude. Ratings. You have 2 small market teams.
Yes.
So are the ratings going to be good? Are they going to be great? Are they going to be lousy? I know you like talking about ratings, man. So what's your sort of expectation with that?
Well, 2 small markets. Everybody thinks that's a problem. We've seen it in the past, and the NBA still got $76 billion, right? So we all know that they can still make money. I look at star power when it comes to this stuff. When you had Golden State, which is not a real major market, versus Cleveland, how was the star power back then? You had Curry. You had when Kevin Durant joined forces. Kevin Durant. You had LeBron James. One series you had Kyrie. I mean, listen, to me, it's all about star power. Now, the problem here is you have SGA, the MVP, who's a rising. I mean, he should be the face of the league. Okay, he should be. Right, by all accounts, he's the current MVP. He's had a tremendous playoff run, but he's going to be new for a lot of casual basketball fans or just casual fans. NBA fans know SGA. They know him because the Clippers gave up on him. And I don't want to hear anybody say now, boy, the Clippers really messed up because they should have known. He averaged 10 points a game as a rookie. They didn't know what they had. Come on. But on the other side, you have Indiana, and they have Tyrese Haliburton. And, first of all, I don't know why he didn't win the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. He made the big shot in Game 1, and then he had a historic triple-double in Game 4. And I don't know how you gave it to Siakam, but you did. So what you're lacking here is established NBA playoff superstars with rings. You've got guys on the rise. Now Haliburton's got ups and downs. He had an unbelievable Game 4. Game 5, he was a no-show. NBA superstars aren't supposed to perform that way in the playoffs. So if there's going to be a problem, it's going to be you don't have the mega stars that people are accustomed to going for rings. You've got these new guys, the new blood, which in a way is good because you got to start somewhere. I mean, how many people really knew Steph Curry before 2015, right? I mean, we knew him as a guy who couldn't get out of the first or second round of the playoffs. We knew LeBron James. Now, LeBron James, fine. That's one thing. So, yes, small market problem to me, it's what you have. What are these teams? Who are the faces of these teams? And that's where I think you're going to have it would help if it were a long series because as you move along and it's close momentum, people will maybe join in to see, hey, what's the big deal with SGA, this guy? I don't know if it's going to be a long series from what I've seen so far in the playoffs. I think this could be over in 5, maybe 4.
I have OKC in 6, Mitch. How about you? What's your let's get you on record here. What's your prediction?
I've said sweep to some people. I'm going to give Indiana a game.
Wow.
Just one. And I think it comes down to this. Oklahoma City, first of all, to me, has already played a better team in Denver that was banged up and compromised because they had Jokic. And they had to go 7 games. And I mean, listen, Denver, if you just think about it. If Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are totally healthy going in, and I know the bench is weaker than it was when they won the title, but you still have Jokic and you still have Jamal Murray. I mean, that's still a formidable championship caliber team. Now, Jokic, it's interesting. Jokic came out and said, obviously, we're not championship caliber anymore because we didn't win. We didn't get there. So we'll see about that going forward. But they've played in that situation. Oklahoma City cleared a much bigger hurdle than Indiana did beating, the teams like Cleveland and New York, especially New York. New York doesn't defend. We saw that in the second half of the biggest game of their lives in Game 6 on the road. They were awful. Turnovers led to baskets. I mean, they are stepping up in class against a defense that is one of the elite defenses we've seen in decades. Now, people want to tell me it's the greatest defense they've ever seen. If you're around in the 90s and you saw Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Ronnie Harper, and Dennis Rodman, they didn't take a backseat to anybody. I don't care who you were. I think one game against Orlando back in the day against Shaq and those guys, they held them like 60-some-odd points in a playoff game. That, to me, is the best wing defense I've seen. Those guys. Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Ron Harper. I don't care. You could tell me to the cows come home about Oklahoma City. To me, that's the elite defense of all time for my money. Because Michael Jordan, if people just – here's what they miss about Michael Jordan, Rick. People, all they talk about is his offense. This man was one of the great – in the history of the game, one of the great defenders, period. Michael Jordan. Lockdown defender. Assassin. An assassin at the defensive end. Coming up with big steals and big moments defensively. So, listen, Indiana has got its real work cut out for him here because Lou Dort is going to be all over Tyrese Haliburton. You got Cason Wallace. You got Caruso. You got Chet on the back line. You got SGA, Jalen, these guys have one of the tremendous defenses, a much better defense than Indiana's encountered. So I think I'm going to give them one game only. And you know what? I might be wrong there. I mean, I think 2 games is a lot for this Oklahoma City team to give up against a team like Indiana.
Wow, the great Mitch Lawrence hanging with your boy Rick Kamla. It is the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Mitch, I did some digging on this, and because we've worked together a long time. I don't do hot takes. I don't believe in hot takes. I don't like hot takes. So people out here saying OKC's defense is the best. They say that because they haven't done the work, right? And it's foolish. This is not the best defense in NBA history. It is one of the best defenses in NBA history. But if you don't win the ring, whoosh, it all flushes away. You gotta stamp it with a championship, right? Otherwise nobody cares and we all forget. So Mitch, we have to go back to the Ben Wallace no-fly zone Pistons. In my opinion, that is the last defense. OKC's the best defense since that defense. That's how I would phrase that. And I agree with you. In the NFL, the 1985 Chicago Bears is the best defense in the history of the NFL. It's the best defense I've seen in any sport ever in my lifetime. Dude, if you got a field goal on the 85 Bears and you didn't get shut out that day, that was kind of a win in a loss. Just to get a field goal against that defense, okay? Yes. So I agree that Chicago defense is the best I've seen. I've never seen anybody guard the wing like Jordan and Pippen did together. I mean, Pippen could guard like a quadrant of the court by himself and like multiple guys and read and recover and react. But what I'll say about OKC, they're the best defense since the Ben Wallace no-fly zone Pistons.
Okay. All right. I can see that. Now, for a football reference, I go back to the Pittsburgh teams of the 70s, the Steel Curtain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you think you're running the ball on Joe Green and those guys, Mean Joe Green, you're out of your mind. He was a nice guy in the Coke commercial when he gave the kid his jersey, but on the football field, there's a reason why they were a dynasty back then. But
his nickname was Mean Joe Green.
Mean Joe Green.
God.
Mean Joe Green. But, it's interesting. Indiana, their offense has been, against the Knicks. We saw it in that last game, and I'm sitting there thinking they're not going to get up and down the court against Oklahoma City. They're going to face ball pressure like they haven't seen before. They're going to face defenders like they haven't seen before, especially on the eastern side. So I think this shapes up as, yes, I think Oklahoma is going to stamp this season. It's been a phenomenal season. Listen, you make a great point. Nobody talks about the Warrior team that won 73 games and broke the Bulls record because they choked away that 3-1 finals lead thanks to Draymond Green, idiot moves he made to get suspended. And right now, and as Scottie Pippen so well put it when they talked to him, he said, it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring, right? And that's why the 72 Bulls team, people still talk about 72-win Bulls team, still talk about that year in 96. Just so dominant regular season and the playoffs, but they had to cap it off against the big win against Seattle, where they won in 6. They should have probably swept them out too, or 1 in 5. But you raise an excellent point there. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing SGA. This could be the first of several crowning moments. Now, it's funny. Even before they finished their series, just destroying Minnesota, people are already talking about, Rick, how many are they going to win? You got to slow your roll on all this stuff. Thank you. We've seen other teams that we thought, there'll be multiple winners, and they're going to win a ton of times, and they don't. Something happens. There are injuries. People leave. People get spoiled by winning. There's fractured. Look, the ultimate case, and they won it 3 times, was Kobe and Shaq. We all thought they'd win 6-7 times. The Lakers. And they had problems, and they finally had to be split up. But I think Oklahoma City, obviously, they'll be well rested. They've got the home court advantage. They're playing great. They have no injuries. That is huge this time of year. I mean, you saw what happened. Knicks played Boston. Brown was compromised anyway by a knee starting out, and then Tatum goes down, and it's all over. Here's the thing that has marked Indiana's tremendous playoff run, and it's been great because, they were only 7 games over 500 back in March. Since then, 15-4 to end the regular season, and now 12-4 in the playoffs. So they've won 27 of their last 35 games. And we saw it in game 1 against the Knicks. We saw it in the Cleveland series was a game 2. They'll steal a game on you. They're going to steal a game on you. We've seen that in the Eastern half where they're down and they're out and they're beaten, and they pull this miracle comeback. We saw it in game 1 against the Knicks, which killed the Knicks, because now you are chasing a series. You never are able to win that extra game. You got to win the 5 games. You mean to tell me Oklahoma City's going to lose a game like that? I'd be stunned. I think that magic for Indiana, you ain't going to see that in this game, because Oklahoma City, not only their defense, but the way they play, they're relentless. They play all 48 minutes. They're not going to blow a big-time lead, I don't think, in this series in the finals when they're 4 wins away from really immortality, because that franchise, okay, Seattle, they won a title, but here in Oklahoma City, they got to that finals. I was there back in, 2012. They played Miami, 2011, 2012. And we all thought, yeah, they're going to be here year after year because they got Durant, they got Westbrook, and they got Hart, and they're going to be just real. We'll be back. Oh, man, we were all sitting there going, oh, boy, we're going to be back in Oklahoma City year after year with the tumbleweeds, blowing across the avenue down there.
And the Skirvin Hotel.
Right, with the ghosts. So, I'm fired up about this finals. I think Indiana has got to go in and win game 1. If Indiana can somehow win game 1, now it could turn out to be when Philly won game 1 against the Lakers back in the day, and then they got the gentleman's sweep against them with 4 straight. But now I think Oklahoma City is clearly the favorite for a good reason. This to me looks like a lopsided deal. But listen, I'm not going to count Rick Carlisle out. He's a tremendous coach. He's done a great job with this team. I love the fact that they came back, and Tyrese Haliburton has talked about this, Rick, after last year getting to the conference finals, and they probably should have won game 1 against Boston. We all know that, and that thing went sideways in a hurry. They got swept out. Came back with the same team. There is your case for bringing everybody back. We're going to make another run, little playoff maturity. Well, Oklahoma City came back too, and they added pieces, right? So this is going to be with Hartenstein, Caruso. So this is going to be a major task for Rick. They got out of the East. All credit to them. Did a great job in the New York series, especially that game 1. So listen, Tyrese Haliburton, SGA, I'm pumped up for it.
Me too, man. Mitch Lawrence is hanging out with Rick Kamla here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Mitch, who is the most important other in this series?
Well, for Indiana, and he's really not another, but I want to see what Siakam can do against the defense he's going to play against. He had the luxury. This is where it really kills Knicks fans. And Karl Anthony Towns is getting destroyed in New York for his defense, which we all knew was going to be a problem.
I mean, he was 20, but he was 25-12. I thought Cat did his job, man.
Well, but here's the problem. The stories have come out. I think The Athletic wrote about it. It's funny how these things surface after a loss, not during when these things happen. This happens all the time in the world of today's journalism. But defensively, he and Brunson were weak links. They were playoff defense liabilities. Steve Kerr often talks about, and he's kind of putting Steph Curry aside a little bit here, but he's saying your top players have to be two-way players. Your stars have to be two-way big-time players. And the Knicks don't have that, either with Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns. What hurts the Knicks, what drives the Knicks fan crazy, besides Karl Anthony not being a rim protector, which they should have known going in. His track record showed that, right? Like they say back home in Tennessee, as my wife will tell me, when you picked it up, you knew it was a damn snake, right? That stuff happens. You should have anticipated that.
And then
what kills them, though, is his counterpart in this series, big man-wise, is Siakam, who was the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. That drives the Knicks fan nuts. Siakam's got to have, and Barkley's talked about this on all, and it's so evident on when he talked about it on pregame Charles and Indiana's run. Siakam's not a guy they run plays for. All of a sudden, he'll just get the ball and go to work. So it's kind of weird in that way, but he's a guy to me. Your stars have to play at a high level. Haliburton, that means he obviously has to overcome the great wing defenders. And then Siakam's going to have to score at a big clip, like 25 plus a night. Can't have the big fluctuations. So I think on Indiana, I think that's the guy. And for Oklahoma City, it continues to be, for me, Jalen Williams. Here's a guy who had rough playoff moments. Then that Denver series he got going, the Minnesota series, right? But he didn't really have a track record. They didn't have a track record. You know, one of the things that was I laughed at, Oklahoma City, and I think they use this for motivational thing. They talked about when they came into playoffs, well, nobody thinks we're any good because, you know, I mean, we won 68 games, but still people have doubts about us in the playoffs. Yeah, hello, we all have doubts about you in the playoffs because you don't have a playoff track record. That's the way it works. That's the way it worked. Hey, when Michael Jordan couldn't get out of the first round for years, he didn't have playoff success. What were we saying back then? He's a big-time scorer. He's going to win you scoring titles, but he doesn't win. So he faced it too. So if Michael Jordan can face that, I think the people of Oklahoma City can face it. But I think they've now proved themselves, and especially Jalen Williams, in big spots where SGA is struggling or they just need him to take over. He's been able to be that number 2 guy and take over and make big shots and have, 12-point quarters. And, hey, to me, if he's that guy against Indiana and SGA's playing at his level, then this is a very short series.
Mitch Lawrence hanging out with Rick Kamla here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. I want to go back to Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm not outraged by this, Mitch. Well, I'm outraged by one thing. Siakam was absolutely fantastic, but I disagree. And here, so I'm not like he would. So, okay. And ultimately it's an award and all that kind of stuff, but we have these debates, right?
Yeah.
So not super butthurt about this, but this is what I am butthurt about, Mitch. 9 voters. 9. We have like 100 on the awards, right? And I'm not saying you have to have 100 voters for Finals MVP each. Even going back, remember the controversial Iguodala over Steph, right? I thought Steph should have won that Finals MVP back in 2015, but there was the whole media narrative push. Iguodala's guarding LeBron. He was put in the starting lineup, blah, blah, blah. You guys all know the story. And that was strong. And there were 9 voters. And I think Iguodala, maybe there were 12, but it's a small number. Mitch, I think they've got to expand that number to 20, 25, maybe 30. Go to the ESPN crew, the TNT crew, the local reporters for the teams, all of the national reporters who follow the NBA throughout the playoffs to every game in every city, and cobble together 25 people. I just don't think 9 is representative enough. I don't think it's a big enough sample size. And because the whole Siakam push, I just don't understand, dude.
Well, I don't know what people are looking at because I know he had his moments, but the biggest shot of the Pacers season, maybe the NBA season right now, is the shot, which we thought was a 3, was a 2, which forced overtime after that amazing Game 1 comeback that Haliburton delivered where it hit the back of the rim and straight up and came down. Delivered the choke sign. It was premature. It was hot. And they still fell behind in overtime. But he got him there with that shot. So that right there, he puts his imprint on the game. Then you go to, Game 4, where he has 32, 15, 12, no turnovers, and historic triple-double. Had never been seen before in a conference finals. Now, they only do stats back to certain years. In this case, it went back to 77, 78. I don't know why they don't include the 60s and the 50s. I mean, they've been playing – the league's been around since 1946. But anyway, it's one of the great historic triple-doubles. That's not going to be replicated anytime soon. So, to me, he comes up with 2 big moments, huge moments, major series-shifting moments. The shot, and then when you go up 3-1 in that series, talk to Tom Thibodeau. He probably figured there's no way in the world we're winning 3 straight games. No way in the world. So we're down 3-1 because we gave up. We allowed this guy to have this historic game. To me, that overtakes anything that Siakam did in the series, right? So
totally.
I don't know
completely
what
agree.
We're looking at. I know you're talking about the numbers, and okay, you want to go up to 12. I think anything above 12 is a little unwieldy. But to me, you got to as Jerry Stackhouse used to preach on Sirius Radio, watch the game. I mean, yes, Siakam did have moments, but nothing like the game one shot by Haliburton, nothing like his historic triple-double, the no turnovers aspect to his floor game. That's going to be interesting. What's the over-under on 0 turnovers in any game against Oklahoma City?
It won't happen.
It won't happen. It ain't going to happen.
Not against Caruso and Dort and SGA and J-Dub and Case and Wallace and all those studs. No.
And they are going to be playing him physically.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks were not. Knicks are not a good. They have quote unquote a couple of good perimeter defenders in Anunoby and Bridges, and they're not quite. They don't quite live up to their billing at points. But I'm telling you right now, they will be into physically Indiana, and that's going to be. You can see it coming up where Rick Carlisle is going to be talking about the officiating after game 1 or game 2. It's going to be, hey, we got to be able to run free. Hey, how come we're not? Because what do people do besides complain about SGA getting to the free throw line? They conversely complain about Oklahoma City's physicality. They're going to show that in this series.
It's a great point, Mitch. I'm fascinated to see, how much they double Haliburton. Do they need to double Haliburton? Foul trouble for Dort. Just how they go about that. I want to ask you about the Knicks. Do you run it back if you're the Knicks, Mitch? Like Indiana, they ran it back, right? OKC, I wouldn't say they ran it back. They made a huge trade. They traded Giddey to Chicago. They brought in Caruso. That's not running it back. I mean, most of the same pieces, but I'm talking about just coming back with the same freaking group like Indiana did. Do you do that if you're the New York Knicks, or do you trade Cat?
Well, they've been linked, and this is typical New York. You'll laugh, but we always hear about this after the season, how the Knicks are going to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo, or they're going to bring in Kevin Durant. Those names are out there. There's probably not very much fire to the smoke, but that's like Knicks fans' dreams. They made their move. Here's the problem that Bridges has to live with. Mikal Bridges has to live with now as a Knick. Forever, you are going to be linked to 5 first-round picks if 4 are unprotected or whatever. They gave up weight, and I said at the time, it's not a second guess. He's not worth it. He's not worth it. You give up 4 to 5 unprotected first-round picks when you're trading for Luka Doncic. Well, that's right. The Lakers didn't even have to do that. That was crazy. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is for a role player. I mean, Leon Rose really rolled the dice here. And I think that's going to come back to haunt him, because now you're limited in what you can do in terms of your assets. Can you trade Karl-Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant? Guess what? You can, and that would reunite him with Devin Booker in Phoenix. I don't know if Phoenix wants to do that. I don't know. I think what you have to do, you have to get Tom Thibodeau a better bench somehow. Thibodeau may not want to play those. Who knows? Would he? If you brought in Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson in their prime and put them on the bench, would he play those guys? Of course, I'm kidding. But Tibbs wants to play 7, 8 guys, whatever. But if you give him better role players, that would help, because one of the things that I think we saw in the last few games of the Indiana series, games 4, 5, 6 were played within 5 days with 2 sets of travel. That favored the deeper team in Indiana. That also, on the other night, it favored them. They were sitting at home. I think it showed that Brunson got worn down in some ways. The over-under, if I'm not mistaken, in that game 6 was like 30 points for him scoring, or something. He scored 19. He didn't have it. And he had mindless turnovers. Sometimes that's a reflection of weariness, physical weariness, leading to mental mistakes, all that stuff. They need a better bench. I think you're stuck with this team. Unless you really want to trade Karl-Anthony Towns and give up on him after a year. I don't know if Leon's going to do that. Remember, he represented Karl-Anthony Towns for a long time. Now, if you could somehow convince Milwaukee that you're going to send them a package and they'll give you Giannis Antetokounmpo, yes, but Kevin Durant, no. Giannis is a different story. I just don't see how they have a better package than Houston or San Antonio to get Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Totally agree.
Just have to run it back, minor moves, and somehow get better defensively, because this is the thing that killed them all season long. And the things that kill you all season long, it's like a brew. People go, whoa, what does the regular season matter? The regular season is a kind of a blueprint to tell you what's going to happen in the playoffs, where your weakest links are. And for the Knicks, it was defensively. That was their weak links in the playoffs, especially against a team like Indiana, which is a very good offensive team.
Yeah, and like that's not Nick Basketball, that's not Tibbs basketball, right? When and obviously Indiana is a phenomenal offensive team, but New York could not get stops. It was crazy. OG's out there to defend, Bridges is out there to defend, and they just couldn't get it done. All right, Mitch, one more for you, man, and we will let you go here. I want to ask you about Dallas. I can't remember the last time you were on, Mitch, and if we've talked about Dallas winning the lottery and getting Cooper Flag. I can't remember if we've had that conversation, but I know you're down there, very close to it. You've been very close to the Mavericks for decades. So what's the tenor like right now? Is it still pitchforks outside of the arena, or did the NBA hook up, wink, wink, Dallas to the point where they saved a franchise down there deep in the heart of Texas?
Well, people are still pissed about Luka Doncic not being a Maverick. There are a lot of fans who are still enraged that it's not just the fact that they traded him. It's that they didn't wait to get a better deal, and then they ended up with a guy who's always hurting Anthony Davis, right?
So Cooper Flag's just a Band-Aid on the sorrow? Is that all you're telling me?
So they won the lottery. Immediately, the reflex from people down here. A lot of people, it's great. A lot of people was, we hooked up the Lakers, so the league gave us a favor because we had to hook them up. You know how that works, all the conspiracy. I will tell you this, for all the conspiracy nuts, and I use this one example. Back in 2011 or 12, I can't remember, the Charlotte team won 6 or 7 games. The next team with the worst record, New Orleans, had 21 wins. There was that big of a disparity. And this is back when the lottery, the number one team, if you had the best odds, it was 25%. One team wasn't 14. The owner of the Charlotte team, do you remember a guy named Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Bell?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. He owns the Hornets. Do you think that the league, after all that Michael Jordan did for the league, would want to hook up Michael Jordan and get him a top flight player? Oh, who was that? Who was the number one player that year? A guy named Anthony Davis, who I just disparaged. But Anthony Davis did happen to make the top 75/76 all-time team. When he's healthy, he's a hell of a player. And what happened that year in the lottery? Let's go back and replay it. With the number, the number 2 pick came up, and it was the Michael Jordan Hornets. The Pelicans won Anthony Davis. Who did Michael Jordan end up with? Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
Oh.
Now, if the league is so interested, and like LeBron says,
wow,
how come I ended up in Cleveland? How come Zion ended up in Orange? How come Patrick Ewing? Well, why didn't they hook up Michael Jordan so he could get Anthony Davis? That nobody has an explanation for, if the league is interested in hooking their guys up and helping franchises out. What was it, an oversight? They forgot that that's right, Michael Jordan was the owner. We should have helped him out. Now, it doesn't work like that. So people are excited about Cooper Flag. They're excited that the talk is they're not going to trade him. They're not going to put him in a package and try to get Giannis. Great. And he's going to work with Jason Kidd. And if Kyrie comes back at some point, and Anthony Davis, and you've got these other guys, and now you added Cooper Flag, who looks like a real deal shirt type thing, there is a segment of Maverick fans who are moving on, as much as it hurts them, and they're behind Dallas, and they hope Cooper Flag becomes a generational type of player.
But you say there's still a huge part of the fan base that's pissed, and the Cooper Flag thing really didn't wash that sorrow away. Glad I asked. Great answer. Mitch, you the man, dude. Always have fun hanging out with you. Enjoy the finals. We'll have you on soon. Perhaps next Monday, but maybe the following, like mid-finals or something like that. But anyway, you're my boy. I'll reach out and we'll get you back on soon. Okay.
Mid-finals will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, there may not be. If I don't have you on next week, that may be it. All right, so maybe
have me on as they're doing the parade.
There you go.
Tumbleweeds going across.
And the ghost at the Skirvin Hotel. My guy. Mitch, love you, bro.
Stay in touch. I enjoy it.
Take it easy, bro. See you. That is the great Mitch Lawrence right there. The Skirvin Hotel. Yeah. Down there in OKC. Spent a lot of time down there, folks. And why, you ask? Why did I spend a lot of time? NBA TV, traveling around, and, finals and OKC and all that kind of stuff. All right. Where did I leave off in my little rundown here? All right. Knicks future. I want to talk about the Knicks here. Jalen Brunson was asked about, confidence level in the team, and he gave a great answer. And he said the most confidence, overconfident. He still thinks this is a championship caliber group. I do too. Okay, they are a contender. This Knicks team. Am I saying that I am promising a Brunson ring? Okay, at some point. Will he get it with this group? Cat, OG, Bridges, Hart? I don't know. I see a champion in that dude, and that's my opinion, and I'm just going to rock it that way. And I've got from here to the rest of his career to find out if I'm right or wrong about that. Is Cat a championship? Like, is he that guy? Frankly, I don't think so. I think he's a really, really, really good player, future Hall of Famer. But just, the Scottie Pippen, the Kyrie Irving, the Pau Gasol, the elite Robin, the championship Robin. Is he that guy? I don't know. I just don't. But anyway, if I'm the Knicks, I stay the course. Okay, add to this core. You got to give this another run. You were second round last year. Brunson got hurt. You got to maybe try to avoid Indiana at some point here. This year you go a step farther to the East Finals. It's all encouraging stuff. The Garden is alive again. The city of New York is back to loving this team again. You already made a huge trade with Randall and Dante going to Minnesota. You bring in Cat. Just let everybody go on vacation, decompress. Don't blow this thing up. Don't. It's arguably the best fitting starting five in the entire NBA. Okay? I heard Tibbs talking. He said, we're in the final three because Minnesota had lost previous to them. It's kind of a clever way to we're the third best team in the league or something, and kind of take credit for that. But I did take note of that, and they're right there. So don't blow it up. Stay the course. Now, this is what Mitch was talking about a little bit. This report from The Athletic, that Knicks players and coaches were frustrated with Cat's defensive habits. Quote, publicly, Knicks players made veiled comments all season about poor communication, causing their inconsistencies. Behind the scenes, they and coaches expressed frustration with Towns' defensive habits, less concerned with his talent level, more with his process on the defensive end. Too often, Towns executed incorrect coverages without communicating why he did it. After that became a theme, players wondered why Towns didn't grasp the importance of the matter. Cat is just, he's not the most serious guy, right? Like Brunson's hardcore serious. Jordan, hardcore serious. Kobe was hardcore serious. SGA's like that. Jokic is like that. Cat's not. He's kind of laid back and all that kind of stuff. Again, sensational player, but is he a killer? Is he a championship killer? No, right now I don't see it. I don't see it. It would surprise me if Cat wins a ring. It would not surprise me if Cat goes his whole Hall of Fame career and does not win a ring. That would not surprise me. That's actually kind of my expectation here. So Cat has been this way for a long time. When's the last time he was like a really good defender? Has he ever been a really good defender? Minnesota brought in Rudy Gobert, plays the same position. That should maybe tell you something about Cat's defense. My thing is and I get all of this, and so hopefully, this doesn't bubble up into like real drama where they have to unzipper the team, but maybe it does. Cat's got to lose weight. He does. He's carrying too much weight out there, guys. I heard somebody saying he's 270 pounds. There's no way. You got to get that down to like 240. Thin out, bro. And look, he's strong, okay, and he's moving people and he's driving to the hoop, and you can do all of that 20 pounds lighter. Hell, 15 pounds lighter. He's got to take wear and tear off of his knees. The reduced weight will create more nimbleness and more agility on the defensive end and allow him to defend better and not just kind of be a cone in there. So I just think Cat's got to lose some weight, man. And I'm not like, it's not like the Zion thing where it's like DEFCON 1, like, bro, like you have to lose weight. Like Cat was almost the MVP this year. Let me rephrase that. He wasn't almost the MVP. It was Jokic and SGA, and then boop. But third for me was Cat. Okay, so he didn't almost win MVP, but he was third on the MVP ballot. All right. Not that the NBA cared or polled me, but we all do our little rankings and stuff. But he was number 3 for me. At the weight he's at right now. So if he wants to keep rocking like this, do you, dude? I frankly don't care. This is just my opinion. I would take some weight off if I were Cat. So what you do here, you bring in mercenaries. They need veteran, 3 and D, all right, for your bench at a veteran minimum cost. Like, go do that. Brunson, go recruit. Cat, go recruit. Leon Rose, get busy. And add to the starting 5. I do believe in Tibbs' culture. I believe his players believe in Tibbs' culture. So, but you got to have a better bench. Here's something. I guess this is a little Rick's ranty, but I'm going to save that for the Haliburton and Siakam thing. Every time a team loses, it's always got to be about the coach. Is the coach safe? It's like this whole like narrative about Tom Thibodeau, and they asked Jalen Brunson about it, and he literally walked out of the press conference. A guy sheepishly like, and you feel like he's like kind of the guy and all this kind of stuff. And Brunson was like, are you serious, dude? And at the end of the bite, he was like, come on, like do better, right? As he, sat the microphone down and walked away. Why does it always have to be that? Why? Here's the thing. If it's been a storyline all year, right? Coach is on the hot seat. He's in the last year of his deal. They haven't extended him, and now he's in the play. And then, boom, you want to have those conversations? That all makes sense to me. Tom Thibodeau is as locked in with the team as any head coach that we have in our sport, in my opinion. I think the Knicks would be idiotic to fire Tom Thibodeau. And they're not going to fire Tom Thibodeau. This is a bullshit media creation thing, but I want to complain about it a little bit here. Here's a report from James Edwards and Fred Katz of The Athletic. The coach has the backing of team president Leon Rose, league sources said, as well as full buy-in from Brunson, who signed with the Knicks in 2022 in part because he wanted to play for Thibodeau. But ultimately, owner James Dolan is the final decision maker. See what they're doing there? And I really respect both of these guys. Don't get me wrong. But do you see what they're doing there? They're still leaving open the possibility. I just feel like this is a non-story. But it's up to James Dolan. He's final. James Dolan isn't going to whack Tom Thibodeau this offseason. And again, if they do, it'll be idiotic. And I will slam them here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with your boy, Rick Kamla. But like, if the guy's on the hot, like Doc Rivers, okay, seems like Doc's always on the hot seat. But it's something like that, like you're coming, like this Knicks season was not disappointing in any way. To me, they overachieved. I did not think they were going to get to the East Finals. They did. They went 6 games with Indiana, okay? They were, 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. I don't know, guys. I don't want to like send this season for the Knicks in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying on the coaching thing. Teams would be lined up at Thibodeau's door if the Knicks made a dumbass move. The Knicks free agents this offseason: Precious Achiuwa, Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright, Cam Payne. Okay, so I would, the Achiuwa thing played out last offseason. They brought him back on a 1-year deal. I don't know, $5-6 million or whatever. He's a nice piece. I would look into bringing him back, but Shamet, bye. DeLon Wright, bye. Cam Payne, bye. And you got to upgrade those guys, man. Got to. Deuce McBride will still be there. Mitchell Robinson will still be there. But You need like 2 or 3 other guys. And again, 3 and D, 3 and D, 3 and D. All right, number 4 in my core 4. Haliburton or Brunson for the present and future. This is a burning question and debate that's going to rage for years. All right. Haliburton has knocked Brunson out of back-to-back postseasons. But is Hallie better than Brunson? Who would you rather have on your team? Is Hallie a better closer than Brunson? Is he a better killer than Brunson? I don't think so. I believe Brunson's the best closer in the league. I believe he's one of the best killers I've seen in a long, long time, going back to his college days. Haliburton is I would say he's more talented than Jalen Brunson. I think he's more skilled than Jalen Brunson. Faster, better looking jump shot. He's a better passer than Brunson. There's no debate about that. Okay. But this is overall totality. This is intangibles and tangibles. I'm rocking with Brunson. I see a champion in Brunson. I really have never had like he's going to be hugging the gold ball vibes with Tyrese Haliburton. I'm starting to. I mean, he's in the finals now, but that's all kind of sneaking up on me a little bit. Not with Brunson. I saw it at Nova. I believe he'll win a ring in the NBA as well. To me, he has the best intangibles in the league in terms of leadership, in terms of moxie, clutch, the clutch player of the year this year. I put a Twitter poll out at Rick Kamla Sports. 67% of you are saying Haliburton, that you would rather have him for the present and future over Brunson. Not a hot take, guys. Not a hot take. If the Pacers had Brunson instead of Haliburton, if you just swapped out those two guys, I would like Indiana's chances of beating OKC way better than with Haliburton. Mitch said it. Haliburton in Game 5. I love him, okay? Love him. But he has these games where it gets weird. Brunson might have like an off shooting game, but his lows aren't as low as Tyrese. Does that make sense? I just think Brunson's just more of a killer than Tyrese. And I'm a huge Tyrese Haliburton fan. I just think there's more of a killer in Jalen Brunson. It's a tough call. You got to shoot your shot, and I'm rocking with Jalen Brunson. I think Brunson's a little more consistent than Haliburton, and so that's what I got. But you can chime in. Go to Rick Kamla Sports. You can get your vote in. If you guys would like to support us, we would love that. Here's what you do. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And if you're feeling extra generous, drop us a written review. It'll help us grow and reach more people. Time for the Kammy of the Week, folks, here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Hi. Pardon me. Kammy of the Week, Inside the NBA. Inside the NBA is the greatest, it's the greatest sports show of all time. And a lot of people have said that, and it's a pretty obvious opinion at this point. I want to shout out the dudes, right? Ernie Johnson. Worked with him for a long, long time. He helped me. I was emceeing the Hall of Fame family reunion dinner up in Springfield, and this is the night before the induction ceremony. It's like, or the night before. Anyway, it's like the Thursday night of that week. And it's sort of the day where everybody gets there, and then they have a big dinner, and they bring the Hall of Famers through, and the MC announces them and does a lot of stuff, right? And so your boy, dude, I'm looking down. There's Dr. J. There's Bill Walton. There's David Stern. There's Bill Russell's over there. I'm like, how am I in this room right now? How are all of these people looking up at me on this stage? Like, it was crazy, dude. And so going into that for the first time, I was like afraid is the wrong word. Like nerd. I just wanted to nail it, right? Like you just want to nail it. And so I called Ernie Johnson, and I'm in the hotel room, and I'm talking with him, and he was great. He's just like, be yourself. He's like, prep and really, really dial in the stuff. So you have great confidence about, what you're going to be going up there with. And he just helped me out in a variety of ways. So Ernie, shout out to you for that. I'll never forget that. And it kind of calmed me down. I'm like talking to Ernie Johnson, I'm talking to the GOAT here. Like I'm getting, literally, there's nobody else better. He MCs events all the time. He's the best MC I've ever seen. He does little poems and funny stuff. He's a whip, man. He's a whip. Sharp as a tack, Ernie Johnson, dude. Shaq, okay. Well, I've maybe told you the story, but I used to drink Red Bull because, long nights and you're out there 7 hours and stuff and work until 3 a.m. So a little bit of Red Bull to get you through, right? So Shaq found out about this and just tripped out. He's like, what you drinking, Kim? Hey, Shaq, welcome. Fake Shaq, welcome to the show. Thank you. It's good to be here. Shaq, Kamla juice. Yeah, what the hell is that? So Shaq used to get on me about drinking Red Bull. I saw Gary Payton one time at the Hall of Fame, and I was having maybe a late night snack with some Red Bull, something like that. And he's like Red Bull. He's like, man, that stuff will kill you. And I just started laughing, and maybe he's right. I don't know. But I rock Red Bull from time to time. But Shaq on the air, okay, was like playfully mocking me, and he had his little cup with, and he's like, it's Kamla juice. And they're like, what's Kamla juice? So he explained it. It was just a hilarious bit. Shaq also wants all the time that we got to spend, right? NBA TV and TNT, literally same dressing room, same makeup room, like it's all the same, right? So we commingled, we'd have dinner together and watch hoops together, and like it's Shaq, it's Kenny Smith, it's Charles, like, again, pinch me, right? How Kevin McHale, right? Sitting and watching the game with Kevin McHale's the freaking best, dude. It's the best. Anyway, so one night we're sitting out there, and Shaq goes, Kamla juice. Is Robert Horry a Hall of Famer? And I said, nah, And his eyes got big, right? Like Shaq's super chill, and his eyes got big, and he got a little testy. With me. He's like, oh. And so we had to go back and forth. I'm like, Shaq, the stats don't. But I've changed that opinion since, because I've looked at some of the old-timey guys like Zach Sanders of the Boston Celtics, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 championships, whatever it was, in very low-dose statistics, right? How did he get in the Hall of Fame? So, and God bless Zach Sanders, by the way, great dude, great storyteller. But if he's in the Hall of Fame, how is Horry not in the Hall of Fame with 7 of them things, and the only guy in the history of the league to win multiple rings with 3 different teams? So I over time I developed that opinion, but at the time I did not have that opinion yet, and Shaq was just shooting me a look, and it was hilarious. Charles Barkley. I want to tell you a story about Charles. Charles Barkley literally called my first divorce. Now, I'm going to bring you into some personal detail of my life here, but it's okay. So we're in the trailer outside of American Airlines Arena. It might have been back in 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. It was during the Heatles' heyday. And Charles was just joking with me, right? And I've known Charles a long time. He's invited me out to go kicking it and go to clubs and stuff like that. And I'm just blessed to have had those experiences and get those invites. And I said yes every time. And those are some of the funnest nights of my life. Love Charles Barkley. I'm in touch with him to this day. So he's just busting balls, okay? And he goes, I'm on the phone calling my first wife, right? And he's like, man, put that phone down, dude. He's like, she's at home right now. She's in bed with some dude. And everybody just starts falling out laughing, right? Because he's just busting balls. Actually, that probably was the case, because as it turned out, my first wife was cheating on me, and I was freed up one night early from NBA TV, and I'm telling you, you're not going to believe this. And so I go home early, right? And I get home early, and I open the door, and the bedroom door is locked. I'm like, that's funny. This door is never locked. And I hear like scurrying and shuffling in the bed, and I'm like, there's somebody in there with her, okay? And there was. So it turned out to be like one of our family friends was shacking up with my first wife, right? And I was gone a lot, traveling, busy with work and stuff like that. And so she was out there playing and dancing on your boy. Charles Barkley called that in the trailer outside of American Airlines Arena. Pretty weird coincidence there, huh? And so I don't know. Charles is the best. I love that dude. But he invited me out one time. At dinner was Magic Johnson, the late great Stuart Scott, Michael Wilbon, Chuck, me, and a few other people. One of the greatest nights of my life, man. Charles, love you. Kenny Smith, got a story on him too. He called me the guru. If I saw him now, he probably still would call me that, but I don't. It's been a minute. But he used to call me the guru. Because, as a fantasy guy and a stat guy, and he'd always be like either asking me a stat or he had a cool stat bouncing it off of me. Super, super fun guy. He's, he's got that New Yorker in him, right? He's a big talker and huge opinions, but just a really loving guy. And I love all four of those guys, man. It is the best sports show of all time. All the behind the scenes people, the camera operators, the stage managers, the makeup artists, love y'all, man. I was there with them for 17 years, 6 up in Secaucus, and then 11 with Turner Sports in my 17-year run with NBA TV. But, life goes on, guys, and TV contracts are different now. People are wondering if ESPN is going to ruin inside the NBA. I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. A lot of people thought that ESPN would ruin Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is doing just fine, okay? This show's going to cook. As long as you have Charles Barkley, you're going to be okay. He is the franchise over there. Time for Rick's Rant. Ladies and gentlemen, and Pascal Siakam winning Eastern Conference MVP over Tyrese Haliburton. It's shocking to me. It really was. Haliburton thought he won. It went viral, and they had a clip. And, as I think Ernie was starting to make the announcement, and he kind of starts, oh, wait, it's not me. I'll just chill over here. Awkward moment. Haliburton should have won. I talked about this with Mitch, but I think 9 voters is not enough. It's not. And, I looked at the list. That wasn't a murderer's row of NBA media. It just wasn't. I mean, Stephen A., Kendrick Perry. I mean, I don't know. They're like some of the top opinion guys in the world, and they don't have a vote. Like some of the people that had votes, I was like, really? That guy had a vote? Really? Out of 9 in the entire NBA journalistic field, and that guy had votes? Really? The voting process has always bothered the heck out of me. You got to open it up to more voters, in my opinion. Voters are often wrong. They overthink it. They're daring to be different. Okay. Haliburton is the Pacers. Without Haliburton, they are a Ferrari without an engine. Okay. Haliburton made history in this series. Siakam did not. Here's some of the history. Here are the only players to average 20 plus points, 10 plus assists, and 2 plus steals in a conference finals. There's 3 of them. 2010 and 2 steals. Magic Johnson, Russell Westbrook, and Tyrese Haliburton. Okay? Ding. Now I got more for you. Tyrese Haliburton becomes the youngest player in NBA history to average 20 and 10 in a conference finals series win. Youngest player in NBA history. That's 2 pieces of history. And then you have, folks, the third piece of history, which was the amazing triple-double without the turnovers. Mitch talked about that, the game that we've never seen before. And then I believe I had one more here, but here it is. Tyrese Haliburton had 63 assists in this series. It's the most assists in a conference finals series win since Magic Johnson back in 1991. Okay, 63 assists, most in a conference finals since Magic back in 1991. That's like 3 or 4 pieces of history. Here's more. Tyrese Haliburton among the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. 2nd in points, 1st in rebounds, 1st in assists, 1st in steals, 1st in blocks, and 1st in threes. The only category that Pascal had him on is points, 25 to 21. Guys, get it right. Girls, get it right. This ain't it, okay? You don't have to, in musical terms, right? If you're a drummer, I'm a drummer. You play on the 1, okay? That's bap, bap, bap. And then you can play off the 1, which is the bap, 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 but you just move it over slightly off the 1. You don't have to get off the 1, okay? You can be chalky. I'd get on the 1 more. Like, if you try to give J-Dub finals MVP, and I love J-Dub, but because, I don't, for some damn stupid reason, right? If OKC wins it, give SGA his props. Give him his flowers. Give him his trophy. Like Steph Curry right now. Wait a minute. I'm blanking on this. Does he have 1 finals MVP? He got the finals MVP in 2022, right? He has 1 finals MVP. He should have 2. It's a joke that Iguodala beat him in 2015. And then, the Durant years, it was kind of like a little bit debatable, but Durant was phenomenal. And so I have no problem with him winning those finals MVPs. The second time, I thought it was very, very close with him and Curry. But anyway, I thought I was wrong. Congrats to Pascal Siakam. Happy for him. But I thought Haliburton should have won Eastern Conference MVP. If you guys want to hang out with us, Sports Ethos YouTube channel, follow at Ethos Fantasy NBA on Twitter, Blue Sky, and do not forget to give a thumbs up to this video. We'd appreciate that. And so time for the most valuable other, and I'll bring Fake Shaq back in just a minute. He's actually working out right now. He's doing some push-ups. Shut up, Kamla. Andrew Nebhard is my choice for most valuable other. Game 6, as Indiana closed out New York. 14 points, 8 assists, 6 steals. The most steals ever by a player in a conference finals closeout game. All right. He took on the challenge of guarding Jalen Brunson, was fantastic. It was really a defensive, just a piece of art by Nebhard against Jalen Brunson. He got Brunson frustrated. Brunson might have kind of sort of headbutted him at one point. Nebhard held Brunson to 38% from the field and 30% on threes in the Eastern Conference Finals. If you expand it, over the entire 6 games. And that's stat from Stat Mamba. So his defense on Brunson, scoring a little bit and blended in, just being a terrific glue guy. So Fake Shaq, Andrew Nebhard, does he get your blessing as this week's MVO? Yes. Shaq, would you like to add any further comment to that? No. All right, Shaq, have a good one. Peace. That is Shaquille O'Neal, fake Shaquille O'Neal there, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so there you go. Andrew Nebhard. We've had Caruso in here. We've had several guys, but we have not talked about Nebhard yet. So cool that he gets some goodies right here. I'm gonna come up with an overall MVO or most valuable other for the playoffs at the conclusion of the NBA Finals. So look alive and stay tuned for that. Time for a few Kam Goodies. I saw a report here from Sean Devaney that the Lakers are dead set on making Bronny a part of their rotation next year. Oh boy. Oh boy. LeBron has an option in his contract. Perhaps Bronny's being used as leverage. Yo, man, if he ain't a rotation player, I just may bail. Now, I would call LeBron on that bluff because I know LeBron loves Los Angeles and the scene and all that. He ain't leaving LA, man. He's not. And so if I were Jeannie Buss, I'd probably be like, all right, I'm calling your bluff right now. I don't believe that. I don't think you're leaving. And I think you're coming back regardless of what we do with Bronny. But anyway, let me get out of Sarcasmville and read this report. The fact is he was a lot better in April than he was in October and definitely in July. If he can show that wasn't a fluke, he's going to start getting 10, 15 minutes because the team is going to feel like they can trust him. I think he's going to do all of that. He's going to be a regular for them next year. That was a Western Conference exec. I like all this. I would like to see Bronny and LeBron play and lob to each other and all that kind of stuff. And who knows? I've always been a guy that Bronny James was a first round pick. Okay. Then he had the heart thing and it dropped him. He had that bad year at USC and it just kind of all went to the second round and stuff like that. Other teams wanted to draft him. He was at one time a really, really hot shot prospect. He's not just LeBron's son. I hate that narrative. The only reason he's on the team is because he's LeBron's son. It's bull crap. It's not true, okay? He would be on Phoenix. He would be on another team. And he might be on a two-way contract, right? Like he may be a G League and NBA guy, okay? But he would be a pro basketball player in the NBA somehow, some way. And so good for you, Bronny. I'm pulling for the kid. I hope he turns into a fantastic player. He's got to get the 3 ball. Has to. You are a 2 in a 1's body. You're not a playmaker. You're not a play initiator. Any of that, right? He's a finisher. He can shoot a little bit. And he's got to be a 3-and-D guy, basically. And what my comp for him is Gary Payton II. That's my comp for Bronny. Be him, okay? Do that. You'll get up to $10 million a year. You can help teams win championships. Like, just do that. GP2 is who you need to study and who you need to emulate. And I saw this and I kind of laughed. Cooper Flagg, according to 92nd Street Y, made $28 million in NIL deals last year at Duke. What? $28 million. So many people. Like, I was talking with some people the other day about college football, And they're like, the worst part about college football is the transfer portal. I'm like, what? It's literally the best part of college football because there's free agency now. There's movement. Quarterbacks bounce from team to team. Like the pro sports, like all the fantasy sports that we play. I think it's amazing. I think it's great. And a lot of people are like, well, NIL, these kids are making too much. What the hell do you care, bro? Like, it's not your money. Like, and all this, like, trying to keep people down and capping people. I just hate it, man. I hate it. Like, NIL is so good for the human race. Like, young fellas and young ladies are getting paid for their services, okay? We are in America, all right? This is a capitalistic society, and that's capitalism to me, okay? Get all you can, bro. 28 million in NIL. Absolutely mind-blowing. Good for you, Cooper Flag. And a shout-out before we get out. Tyrese Haliburton stealing celebrations. I love it. And I'm trying to, does OKC have a celebration? Like SGA? I'm trying to think, do they have any like things that they do? I'm going through the whole list. They don't. They just play. Like, oh, there's no night. There's no like Brunson with the thing. They don't do any of that stuff, which is fine. But anyway, Haliburton stole the Malik Beasley, where he kind of like shakes his hip. The Brunson, this thing like that, and Caitlin Clark did it too. The choke thing for Reggie Miller, the Dame time thing. I mean, dude, it's the second dopest thing in the NBA after Steph's night celly, which is the best celebration in NBA history, by the way, and one of the best celebrations in sports history. But for Haliburton, I love the swag. I love the entertainment factor. I love the fact that he's not worried about what people think. If I'm pissing you off, so what? I love that. That's a great attitude to have, man. And Hallie talks the talk and he walks the walk. He's a generational talent, first ballot, future Hall of Famer. And will he be a champion? We'll see. I say not this year, but Haliburton magic is real. And I can't wait to see what happens, guys. Game 1 is Thursday. I'll be back on Monday. We'll be breaking it all down. 11 a.m. Eastern time, the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. Please download the app. Go to your favorite app store. Download the Sports Ethos app. It's amazing. Blurbs on MLB, NFL, and NBA. And go to sportsethos.com and subscribe to our work over there. We would really appreciate that. Big shout out to Andre Lemouche. Big shout out to Mitch Lawrence for joining us. And big shout out to all of you. Please retweet this on your timeline. Let everybody know your boy Kam is cranking over here at Sports Ethos. And we will see you very, very soon. This episode's been brought to you by Bet Online, and enjoy the finals.